President Trump's second term began with a bang, but not the celebratory kind. It was more like a firework factory exploding on the 4th of July, loud, chaotic, and leaving everyone wondering what hit them. From day one, the administration seemed to be in perpetual crisis mode, juggling international standoffs, economic anxieties, and a steady stream of domestic controversies. The world watched with a mixture of fascination and horror, wondering if this was the new normal or just a prelude to something even wilder. Buckle up, folks, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Remember that time Trump said he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and not lose any voters? Well, his second term was testing the limits of that theory. His approval ratings were lower than a snake's belly in a wagon rut, and Congress was about as functional as a screen door on a submarine. Democrats were sharpening their impeachment knives, while Republicans were busy trying to remember what party they belonged to. It was enough to make even the most cynical observer long for the relative tranquility of the Obama years. Let's start with the international scene, which was about as stable as a Jenga tower built by a caffeinated toddler. Trump's decision to freeze military aid to Ukraine threw gasoline on the already smouldering fire of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Apparently, Trump thought a strongly worded letter to Putin would do the trick. But Vlad seemed more interested in expanding his real estate portfolio than in international diplomacy. Meanwhile, the trade war with China was heating up faster than a microwave burrito. Trump slapped tariffs on everything from chopsticks to pandas, and China retaliated by slapping tariffs on everything from iPhones to soybeans. The global economy was caught in the crossfire, and economists were warning of a recession that would make the Great Depression look like a picnic. But hey, at least we were winning, right? Right? Speaking of trade wars, Trump wasn't content to just pick fights with superpowers. He also decided to take on Canada and Mexico, because why not? Apparently he thought our neighbors to the north and south were taking advantage of us, so he hit them with tariffs on everything from maple syrup to avocados. Canadians were outraged, Mexicans were confused, and Americans were stuck paying more for everything. It was like a masterclass in how to alienate your allies and tank your own economy at the same time. Back home, the economic picture wasn't much prettier. The stock market was on a roller coaster ride from hell, and fears of a recession were growing faster than Trump's golf handicap. The trade wars were taking their toll. Businesses were laying off workers, and consumers were tightening their belts. Trump kept insisting that everything was fine, but his pronouncements were about as convincing as a used car salesman with a toupee. And then there were the domestic controversies, which were coming so fast and furious, it was hard to keep track of them all. There was the time Trump appointed a Fox News host to the Kennedy Center board, because apparently artistic merit is now measured in cable news ratings. There was the time he proposed making plaintiffs pay up front for emergency lawsuits against the government, because nothing says equal justice under the law like making sure only the rich can afford to sue the government. And let's not forget the time he cut funding to Columbia University over Israel-Palestine protests, because apparently the First Amendment only applies if you agree with him. It was enough to make your head spin, but hey, at least we weren't bored, right?